What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future of this company. I'm also going to break down the historical data for Tesla and show you guys what happens generally during these earnings report and why I believe this is going to cause Tesla to at least run up temporarily and why I'm actually quite excited. I'm going to show you what the data is suggesting, what Tesla may end up doing, and also what may end up being discussed during the earnings report that's very important for the future of this company. Now, before I break any of the data down, before I show you what the share price may end up doing, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. As you guys know, I'm not a financial planner, so please don't take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the MooMoo link down below in the description. If you sign up for MooMoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're not only going to qualify for up to 6 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500, but you're also going to have the opportunity to win a free Apple share. When you receive those 6 free stocks, you could always sell them for cash and buy some Tesla shares for free. This is a limited time offer that ends at the end of April, so please check it out to get those free potential Tesla shares. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, you guys can notice we're on this downward trend. We've been downward trending for quite a bit of time over the last week and a half. And we've seen this thing just drop and drop and drop because of what's going on with the Fed, because the Fed has announced that they may end up having to become a lot more hawkish given what's happening with inflation, the CPI data, the PPI data, and all those things. And as a result, we are seeing Tesla kind of drop. It did end up finding lots of strong support around that $975 range. But I do believe we're going to get a temporary relief for this week. I do see Tesla actually reversing, and I'm going to show you exactly why. So going back right here, you guys could see on January 26, 2022, Tesla had their earnings, and the next earnings is going to be on April 20th, 2022, which is just a few days away. So what happened during January 26th? Remember, during that time, Tesla was on a bit of a downward trend, very similar to where we are right now. What happened? Well, let's go back right over here, and I actually highlighted this for you guys. So check this out. When it came to their earnings report, Tesla was on this downward trend. We were just dropping and dropping and dropping, very similar to where we are right now. But what happened was, when we actually approached January 24th, we had that last red candle. We got pushed down to that $850 range. Then we pushed up and up and up, all the way up to about $970 a share at that time. Then the earnings came right over here where this yellow line is. So this this white line right here. This white line right here is where it started. We started seeing lots of green candles. And then this yellow line is when the earnings report came out. And after that, Tesla ended up actually dropping pretty hard after that. And it wasn't necessarily the end of the world, because after that, we saw Tesla kind of trade sideways, have one big drop before this thing started to actually run all the way up to about that $1,150 level, which just goes to show that this thing could swing really, really fast in a very short period of time, and you can't just sleep on this company. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I believe we're going to have a very similar move. And let me just show it to you guys one last time if you didn't catch it. Once again, we were dropping and we got that reversal leading up to it because there was lots of anticipation, lots of excitement going into earnings. Lots of people anticipated something big would be announced. And obviously, they had a very good earnings for Q4. Obviously, it was very amazing. But the problem was, it wasn't anything that was too surprising. So no one really got caught off guard. And as a result, it did lead us to dropping to some degree with the overall market and what was going on at the time. So that is something I think could end up happening depending on what on earth is announced. So let's actually mark this. So their earnings will be on 4/20 or April 20th, and I could actually mark it just like this real quick. So 4/20 would be like right here, and we're already at that drop phase, right? We got that big push down to about that $975 level. So what do I think is going to happen? Like I said before, we have gaps up here. We have another gap as high as 1090. It's very possible we're going to push really hard and actually fill those gaps. It's very, very possible we're about to pump really hard. And I'm going to be very bullish going into perhaps Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even part of Wednesday, because I do think Tesla is going to push to the upside in anticipation of their earnings. Now, The question is, are we going to dump after? Are we going to keep on running? I can't answer that question because it depends on what is announced. If they announce some very, very bullish piece of news, it could push this thing even higher. If not, if it's just nothing that surprises us, it could end up dropping just a little bit. So we have to wait for that. What could be super, super bullish and what is going to be announced is probably what's on everyone's minds. So for Q1, I believe we could see right over here for the first quarter, they are going to actually talk about the fact that there were ongoing supply chain challenges and many factory shutdowns. And despite that, they did actually announce that they produced over 305,000 vehicles, delivering over 310,000, which is absolutely incredible. It's incredible. They defied the odds. And at first, the media kind of attacked Tesla because they did not meet expectations, so to speak. But that's because of what's happening with the shutdowns due to the factory shutdowns in China, and they still did very, very well. So they're actually going to give us some updates involving the situation. They're also going to talk about some other big things, such as the supply chain issues and how they're actually powering through these issues, because I don't see this as something that's going to affect Tesla the way it is affecting other EV companies. They did find ways around this by actually really, really gathering the supplies they needed from a very different state. Now, some commodities are becoming a little bit more expensive. That did end up leading them to raising some of their prices by like $1,000 here and there. But they have a very big brand, so I don't see that as a bad thing. Now, Elon Musk, the CEO, the legend, he also talked about some very bold predictions he has. He did mention in the past that the AI that's being developed by Tesla is going to be one of their most important inventions or developments, so to speak, in their entire history. He also said that he thinks that the future could resemble a sci-fi novel, and I personally don't think he's wrong about that. I mean, the AI technology is going to be so incredible. Imagine 10 years in the future having cars that drive themselves. I mean, I just can't imagine how insane that's going to be. And Tesla is still the future. It's still doing very, very well. We're also going to talk about their ambitious plan to ramp up production even more, and also how they really plan on improving their next gigafactories coming out as well, and other big things like that. So be on the lookout for them kind of addressing these supply chain issues. There is some talk, and this could be one of those bullish catalysts that I am talking about, some talk about a second stock split. Now, I can't guarantee this. I also don't know all of the details, because the thing you have to remember is a stock split does not improve the fundamentals of a company. It's not a very big fundamental move, but generally during these stock split situations, stocks do like to actually run to the upside because it's very exciting for lots of investors. Because when the stock is split, nothing changes. It's just that if a person has one share that's worth 1,000, instead they may end up having two shares each worth 500 instead. So when they do these splits, it gives more and more doors. It opens more doors for different investors that have less money. It also affects options. I actually want to go down here and find that part. It talks about the fact that, look, a stock split divides existing shares into smaller pieces. I'm sure you guys already saw this in my previous video. I'm not going to go into too much details about that. But the big thing for me is how it affects the options, the call contracts, the puts. And what you could see right here, it states that options are affected the same way that shares are, assuming they expire after the day of the split. For example, if you have a $1,000 strike call and a 5-to-1 split was announced, you would end up with five $200 strike calls. This scenario gives you more flexibility in your choice to exercise or sell. Once again, that's very good in my opinion, because more people could actually be incentivized to enter options for a Tesla. And you guys know what that means. When the thing starts running, it could actually run even harder due to delta hedging from market makers. That's a possibility. It really depends on how much buying pressure there is for these options and how many end up in the money. But it is something we need to be looking out for the next runs, because they could be even more dramatic, and it could even lead to more volatility in the stock's movement going forward. So anyways, Going into the future, as I stated before, I think it's very probable this thing is going to push up leading up to earnings on 420. I'm actually quite excited going into it, but I don't really expect anything that's insane to be announced. It's very possible, but I'm just trying to be prepared for anything because it is very possible that nothing too surprising is announced and we could end up dropping right after. Just wanted to put that out there. That is what happened during the last Q1, the Q4 earnings report. This is going to be the Q1 earnings report for 2022. So I'd like to see what's announced first before actually making any bold claims. So with that said and done, as I stated before, I expect a run up leading up to earnings after it's really determined by what's announced, right? That's what we're looking out for. Anyways, I want to thank you all for listening. Please have a great rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon and peace out.